Fox Sports Next and Scout.com. I'm National Recruiting Analyst Brandon Huffman alongside fellow National Recruiting Analyst Greg Biggins. Coming to you from Laney College, where today the Oakland Nike football training camp just wrapped up. A lot of great players on the defensive side of the ball. We got to see the West's #1 prospect, Adoree Jackson. He earned an invite today to the opening. Yet it was another guy who won the MVP award, John Plattenberg, a very talented group of defensive backs, but Plattenberg walked away with the MVP. Give me your thoughts, not just on Plattenberg, but on the secondary altogether today.
Secondary, and yeah, talking to the DB coaches, Michael Fletcher, Eugene Jackson said, out of all the tour stops, it's by far the best. And they've been to Texas, they've been to Florida. So for them to come out here and say this was the best group they've had, and that shows something. Plattenberg was the guy. I mean, and it was a loaded group. Darius Pickett got the invite. You know, we had Adoree Jackson, who was obviously gifted. Brendan Simmons, safety, very, very gifted. There's a lot of guys, just a lot of good artists, Manny from Rancho Cucamonga. I mean, go on and on and on. I thought Plattenberg wasn't just a little better, he was like a lot better. I mean, he was like on a different level than all those guys. I can't really find a weakness to his game. I mean, he's got a nice frame, you know, long arms. We talked off camera about Johnny Johnson, but probably longer, right? Maybe an inch taller, longer arms. He's got feet, top end speed. He's tough. You play for Corona Centennial, you're always going to be tough. You're always going to be physical. Just a total package. I mean, right now I think we have him way under-recruited, under-ranked, but I mean, he can absolutely play. He can play for any school in the whole entire West, if not the country. I mean, I'll use that much hyperbole on the kid. I thought he was phenomenal.
Well, he's a guy that came into the spring without any offers and now is in double digits. In fact, his first offer was Boise State, who offered him as a running back. So I think that kind of shows the athleticism, which he put on display today. Linebackers today, you had DJ Calhoun, you had Michael Lazarus, you had Cameron Smith, who was a star down as a sophomore at the LA Nike camp a couple months ago. But yet Joey Alfieri comes down from Portland, earns a ticket for a quick little trip for him. In fact, his school is not too far from the Nike campus. He got the invite to the opening. Talk about what you saw from the linebackers today.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll quote Chris Gizzi. I mean, he's forgotten more about football than I'll know. He said this is a guy who was the most consistent guy. He plays in space. Great knee bend, but the thing he loved about him was just his effort. I mean, he said there's plays where a guy throws deep 40 yards away, and he would finish every single play. And he looked at Hardy Nickerson, who's also a former great linebacker, and said, would you not love to play with this guy right here? And they said, that's the guy I would most want to play with Joey Alfieri. You know, obviously he's got a pretty solid offer list right now. I'd probably say headlined by Stanford. They're a pretty good school right now, academically, athletically, all that good stuff. So now Joey earned the invite also to the opening, one of the 10 guys, and DJ was also very good. So was Michael Lazarus. Those were the top 3 guys, and Coach Gizzi loves Cameron Smith. You know, I said, he's a 6'2", 250-pound sophomore. Are you worried about his size? Are you worried that when he's a senior, he's going to be 270? And he said, not at all. He said the way he moves around, the way he plays in space, he's going to be fine. He's going to be a guy who's going to probably play inside backer in a 3-4 or a 4-3 scheme. If he wants to maybe lose a little bit weight to increase his speed, that's a good thing. But he said his frame is conducive to him staying at linebacker no matter how much weight he puts on. So all 4 of those guys were big-time players today. Speaking
of the weight and the guys on the defensive line, there was a good, strong contingent of guys from Fresno. Sean Smallwood, who's headed to USC, Sharif Williams, who getting quite some offers now, both for the offensive line and defensive line. Jacob Daniel from Clovis North and Fresno as well. Those 3 guys were probably the cream of the crop. None of them won the MVP. There wasn't a defensive lineman that was invited to the opening, but just give me your overall impressions, especially of those 3 guys.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of knew going in, and it's not to knock anybody, but we said that's probably going to be the lightest group in terms of just overall talent and depth. Sean Smallwood's a guy, I'd probably love to see him maybe lean out a little bit. He's probably about 5'11", 6 feet. I think he measured at 290. Had some great one-on-one reps. He's really quick off the ball. He's strong. He showed off a Deacon Jones like head slap a couple times. I'm not really allowed to do that, but that's how they do it at Central High School. Sharif also bigger than Smallwood. Not as quick, not as athletic, but he's got a lot of upside too. Jacob Daniel, again, just a sophomore. Again, oozes the word upside right now. Probably more of a straight line guy. A bull rush guy, not a lot of lateral, not a lot of pass rush moves, but just a big, strong guy. And in high school, they probably don't want him to do a bunch of cute moves, right? Just get the guy in front of you and throw him aside. Out here, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to try to do a move. So, but again, upside-wise, Jacob Daniel's going to be a guy who's going to, he'll be a 50 offer guy next year.
2 stops on the West Coast are done for the Nike Football Training Camp Tour. June will take us to Eugene, Oregon for the final stop on the Nike Football Training Camp circuit, and then to the opening later that month in Beaverton. For more information from this weekend's Oakland Nike Football Training Camp, check out Scout.com and Fox Sports Next. For Greg Biggins, I'm Brandon Huffman.